Today is another edition of Top 5. But before I get to that, I want to mention that the jersey dropping today for the 2025-2026 season, that is not one of my top 5 headlines because one, I thought it was a pretty good jersey, but it doesn't actually even hit my top 20 or honorable mentions, which is a video I made on the channel a few months ago. And secondly, it's been in the works for a while, so it's not really breaking news. Welcome to episode 699 of the Barcelona podcast, brought to you by the Blue Wire Podcast Network. I am Dan Hilton, but we still do have 5 other big pieces of news to go over from the last few days. Before we get to those, though, please, even though it's the summertime, subscribe to the YouTube channel or give me a good rating on the podcast apps. Those help out a lot more than you know. And as far as the YouTube channel goes, even if you're just a listener, give me a little subscribe there. Help me get to 25,000, 30,000. Hey, this might be the year with Lamine Yamal popping off of 100,000. So those dreams are for later. Now we're just dreaming in the top 5. Let's get into them. Headline 1 is Nico Williams is close, probably. I just mentioned some dreams, and the Nico Williams to Barcelona should not be just a dream. It should be more like a reality this week, but we still don't know. There's still a lot up in the air. Any minute now, Nico Williams could be a Barcelona player. Since you last heard from me, it seems there was some kind of drama in the saga. Of course, it's Barcelona spending more than 50 million, so you have a saga and drama to be expected. But honestly, I've never been too concerned with that noise in this case. Knowing that the financial year began yesterday, we all knew that Barcelona wouldn't be paying his release clause until at least the beginning of July. So when you talk about Nico's agent, Felix Taenta, and the player having doubts about his registration, which does seem to be based in some truth about those fears, they're a bit overdone. Between Koundé, Dani Olmo, Barcelona had been through this before. Friday is now supposed to be the big day when Barcelona pay the 58 million euro release clause to the Liga headquarters. That would also include CPI, taking the total to about 62 million euros. Athletic Club returned to training on July the 9th, and we can assume that both the player and Barcelona want this all to be over before that. In the meantime, Athletic Club are making a public mockery of this whole ordeal, and I will remind Kool-Aids again of the Sevilla and Jules Koundé saga. It does feel a bit like deja vu. Hopefully, we'll be talking about Nico Williams, the Barcelona player, the next time you see me, because, yes, this is the big news and big transfer of the summer. Our second headline is the schedule release. It is hard to believe, but Barcelona do kick off their actual official La Liga season in about 6 weeks' time on the weekend of August the 16th and 17th. It's a quick trip to the Balearic Islands for a date with Mallorca, who finished 10th last season in the league and could have a familiar face in their ranks, but we'll get to that a little bit later in the headlines. Athletic Club versus Sevilla may be the headline matchup for week 1. Real Madrid is hosting Osasuna, Atletico Madrid visits Espanyol, and there should be some fun in Real Oviedo's first match in the first division since 2001 when they hit the road to play Villarreal, and Sid Lowe's club finally returns to La Liga. The two El Clásicos obviously get the attention, with Barcelona heading to the Santiago Bernabeu on October the 26th and then hosting their eternal rivals May the 10th, so set your calendar for both of those dates. After Mallorca, Barcelona visit Levante and Rayo Vallecano before finally returning, and I say finally returning, to the Camp Nou on match day 4 to host Valencia. That's one I have circled as well, and I know people are complaining about Barcelona starting the first 3 match days on the road, but that's just 3 in a row. That's really not that bad, and Barcelona should still take care of business, especially against a recently promoted Levante side. Our third headline is that it's official. Ansu Fati is on his way to Monaco. Ansu Fati, who is still just 22 years old, I will remind you, is getting a fresh new chance to revive his career. We've known for weeks that the destination was Monaco, and it is now official. Barcelona and Monaco will split his wages 50-50 for the next season, freeing up about 8 million euros FFP for Barcelona in this coming year. Ansu also did both sides a favor, well, at least that's why I feel it is, by extending his Barcelona contract an extra season until June of 2028, lowering his yearly wages, and even if Monaco choose not to buy him outright, it's going to make Barcelona have an easier time next summer to move him on again. The deal is a loan move with an 11 million euro buy option, so really not that high. With all that in mind, it does seem that Ansu's time at Barcelona is finally over. And for this player, I really do wish him the best of luck. It was a hill that I have been willing to die on many years now, over with all of his injuries and still having a belief in the player. He's obviously not who he was going to be at 16 or 17, but I still truly believe that there's a very good player in there. And I think other teams in the world believe that too, or else they wouldn't be willing to pay some of these astronomical wages that he has. Monaco, I think, will also be a really fun and interesting club to watch this upcoming season, as they've also added Paul Pogba and Eric Dyer this summer to a team with a lot of young talent who maybe Barcelona need to be looking at for future reinforcement in other summers. In other transfer news, 7 Barca Athletic players, and not a lot of surprises in this list, were out of contract on June the 30th, so they will be moving on. And that list includes Pau Prim, Diego Percan, Joan Piera, Aziz Issa, Ruben Lopez, Cedric, and Pedro Soma. Of that list, Cedric's not playing in the 4th division. Actually, most of these players aren't. Ruben Lopez, I thought, was pretty good for Barca Athletic, one of their more consistent players. But again, not having a player in his mid-20s in the 4th division. And Pau Prim, we've known for a while that he was going to be leaving. Pedro Soma, really, as Arsene and I talked about last week, the one surprise here that Barcelona weren't at least willing to pay that less than 1 million euros to get him from Cornea permanently and then sell him on. But no, instead they said, we're not even going to worry about that. Pedro Soma will likely be in a better division next year. And as also reported on that La Masia show last week, Noah Darvish is on his way to Stuttgart and Sergio Dominguez is on his way to Dinamo Zagreb. And those 2 deals are official. And so they will probably help Barcelona out a little bit in FFP. Not a lot, but just some. Our 4th headline is Lamine Yamal counts down to 10. In other not shocking news at all. In fact, actually today you can officially see the Lamine Yamal 10 jersey, but the announcement is not yet official as Lamine Yamal has been counting down that he will be the number 10 at Barcelona on Instagram. I did make a video on the channel about the history of the number 10 shirt at the club when Ansu Fati took the shirt, but I may have to update that in real time with Lamine Yamal getting it soon. The youngster has been foreshadowing the big announcement with pictures, as I mentioned, on social media of Maradona and Ronaldinho in the 10 shirt. Then a collaboration with Messi and Adidas was released, and you know what comes next. But Kool-Aids will have to wait for the official announcement because Lamine Yamal requested to postpone the official announcement until he signs his contract renewal on his birthday on July the 13th. The club did officially launch the jersey today, so people can already buy those. But even if they would have had to wait an extra 11 days, I don't think that Lamine Yamal's shirt would have had any trouble in getting off the shelves. I lived through the Messi stuff, and I'm not comparing Lamine Yamal again to Messi on the field, all the expectations, all of that. But for a young generation, I'm now walking around New York City, and I am seeing young kids and even teenagers in Lamine Yamal jerseys. And that goes a long way for me to believe that Barcelona now have the 2nd most marketable player that they've had on their books in the 21st century. Yep, that's what I'm saying. And that is going to help Barcelona a lot in their financial stuff. And then our 5th piece of news, another thing that could help Barcelona is Pablo Torre's bidding war. For a few days now, we've been thinking that it was Pablo Torre to Mallorca, that they were all going to be done and dusted before June 30th, but that did not happen. As of a week ago, it seemed concrete that he was set to join Mallorca on a 4-year deal with Barcelona retaining 50% of any future sale and a buyback option. The deal was reported to be between 4 and 6 million euros, but it still isn't done at time of recording, which is super weird because we know all the details of the deal. And now, as of yesterday, Ajax are also reportedly in on the 22-year-old. And as Arsene and I talked about last week, the 10 spot at Barcelona is already full at first team level, and quite a few of the best prospects in the academy play there as well. Yes, I know Pablo Torre never really got a fair shake at Barcelona, and he always played well when he was trusted. But I do also think that makes him a perfect candidate for a sale that could help Barcelona FFP, which if you ask me to choose between registering Nico Williams or having Pablo Torre as your 4th choice number 10 on the bench or 3rd choice natural number 10 on the bench, obviously I'm going with Nico Williams, and that might really be the choice that the club is making at the moment as well. So that is the news. Aside from some personal news, the background that you've gotten used to over the last year, well, that's changing again. Yes, I am moving once more. So in the coming weeks, expect to see that background change. And hey, maybe we'll have a little bit more continuity because I feel like I've been missing that for the last few months. We'll have a bit more continuity, which means once the new season begins, I'm getting that move done before even the preseason kicks off. So you'll see me back on Big Up. I'll be all settled in, and we got a lot of fun things already prepared for the 2025-26 season. So I don't want you to miss anything. That means what do you got to do? Subscribe to the YouTube channel. Follow me along on all social media. We've got a Discord. We've got a Patreon, a closed Facebook group. Again, Twitter, Instagram. I post where I'm going to be on all those different platforms. So make sure you don't miss anything I have going on by giving me a little subscribe. That is a big help, more than you know. And as always, please enjoy your summer. Enjoy this little break from, well, not actually club football because of the Club World Cup, but Barcelona's first team having to play and put more miles on their legs. Hopefully these players can stay healthy. And I mean for all clubs. And you too. Hopefully you're having a healthy and happy summer. And as always, until next time, Forza Bye.